Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah!
Yeah!
We got it! We got it!
New 52 booklet.
Somebody clip this one.
Welcome to Justice League Rewatch. I am Jared. I'm here with Nick from the Phoenix Press. What's up, brother?
Jared.
Yeah.
Jared, I've been since Christmas is kind of coming up. I've been looking to try and find you something. But what do I get for the man who has everything? I'm sorry, but that is our new shtick, is where you introduce me and I say a really bad joke to introduce the episode.
Well, yeah, you always do that. But I love Batman's response to that. So what'd you get him? Cash. That's such a Bruce Wayne thing to do. So, by the way,
he makes a good point. Like, what do you get Superman?
So
a new typewriter?
Yeah, he did that in one of the comics. So right now we're talking about the episode, the JLU episode number 2 for The Man Who Has Everything, based on the Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons comic. What do you get for The Man Who Has Everything?
I need to add some stuff to that. Mm-hmm. So not only was it done by Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons, it was actually edited by the legendary editor Julius Schwartz.
Oh,
and this is the only time those three ever worked together.
Oh, dream team.
This was like one of the last projects that Julius Schwartz worked on before retiring.
Yeah. Oh,
so you didn't know that, did you?
I did not know that. That's interesting.
So for those who don't know, Julius Schwartz was the editor of DC back in like the late 50s, early 60s. He is basically the person who started the Silver Age. Like, he's the person who rebooted all of DC superheroes like Flash, Green Lantern, and gave them more of a sci-fi twist. Like, he is responsible for like Hal Jordan, Barry Allen, and all like basically DC's modern slate in like the late 50s, early 60s. Without Julius Schwartz, we might not have had Marvel. You know, because like...
Oh, yeah, because the Justice League and all that?
Well, no, I'm talking like the Silver Age began with DC. DC started the Silver Age.
No, but what I mean is that the story goes that he did the Justice League, Julius Schwartz, like, as part of his like reinvention of DC, did the Justice League. Then Marvel was like, "Hey, Stan, DC has this epic book called Justice League. Do something like that." And then that was one of the impetuses for the Fantastic Four, and then brought in the Marvel Age of Comics.
I think no. I think that might have been the impetus for the Avengers.
No, it was not. I'm 100% sure it was the Fantastic Four.
Well, the story that Stan always says with Fantastic Four, and we're kind of getting away from here, but I don't care.
Yeah,
is Stan Lee always wanted to tell like this certain story, and this is a story that he's told countless times in interviews, where his wife told him like, "Oh, you're planning on leaving anyway, so just say it, like, get out of your system."
Yeah,
and so he did that. And it sold a lot, and that was the birth of
that was half of the story, though, on the Marvel editorial side, because they said, we need something to compete with Justice League. Hey, and Stan brought, I have this Fantastic Four script that I really want to do. Okay.
I've never heard that story, so I can't say whether it's true or not, so I'll take your word for it for now.
Yeah, that was actually in the older DC documentary that they did that was narrated by Green Lantern himself, Ryan Reynolds. I'll send you the clip. It's interesting. So anyway, but back to this.
Also, DC did X-Men before X-Men.
Yes, they did. Doom Patrol. So suck it, Marvel. So
sorry.
Yet one of the many occasions when Marvel copies DC. In fact, one of the first episodes Lad and I did for Under Two Capes was counting the amount of times Marvel ripped off DC and DC ripped off Marvel. Spoiler alert.
We need to do a new version.
Yes, we do. And spoiler alert, Marvel had the most ripoffs.
Okay, that's a UTC episode.
That's got to be a UTC episode, yes. So anyway, but back to this. Here's a very interesting part of this episode that, because I haven't I haven't rewatched this since I started my hatred for Lois Lane. So they walk into the Fortress of Solitude, and he's got the Black Mercy plant on his chest. So the Black Mercy plant is this plant that consumes you, but to keep you from fighting, it puts you in a dream that is created from your innermost desires. So apparently Superman's innermost desires is not to be married to Lois Lane.
Be clear, you just put out all those fires, and now you're I'm sorry, I didn't start the fire. They were always burning.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. I'm just she's still voiced by the Lois Lane actress Dana Delaney. She does a great job. That's why I had to look up on the wiki who she is, because I was like, okay, is that Lois? But they just gave her red hair for some reason. Nope, different character.
She's Lowell.
Yeah, well, please don't.
I'm not saying that's her actually name. I'm just making a really bad joke.
Her name is Luana, which apparently is a mix of Lois and Lana, but still it doesn't count as being Lois Lane. So it does not. That's what I noticed, actually. Whenever Superman's in the Black Mercy plan, even in the comics, he doesn't dream of Lois Lane. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like DC is trying to tell us something. So anyway, enough of the Lois bashing,
wasn't it
scientifically
proven that like Superman and Wonder Woman are like the better ship anyway?
That will be 100% a Super Wonder Legacy episode that Britt and I are going to do, because we talked about this briefly on spoiler alert, this week's coming episode. Well, actually, the episode.
I'm sorry, I saw that pop up on my feed of like, yeah, he has to see this.
She sent me that too. So okay, but so we also get, this is probably one of the coolest action-oriented episodes ever. We'll talk about that in a second, but I want to talk about the Superman portion of this episode first. I want to talk about each of the dreams individually. So with Superman, his dream is that Krypton didn't explode. He lives on Krypton. He hangs out with his father. He's got a son, Van-El, and he's married to not Lois Lane. I'm going to keep calling her that because I can. It's my show, so suck it.
Can we get a suck at Warner Brothers, please?
Okay, that's fine. Because she is a Warner Brothers property, so technically that does count.
Yeah, second Warner Brothers.
And here's the internet response to this episode. You ready?
You weren't lying when you said that clip was going to enter rotation.
That's actually what's kind of funny. All these clips from Alita are going to be in rotation. But anyway, so Superman still feels like the earthquakes from Krypton. And by the way, this is a holdover.
I have a question. Okay, I have a question for you. What does Alita say to the Wonder Bat fans?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I am not impressed.
Those are Lois fans, but okay. But anyway, going back to this.
I'm sorry.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. So the earthquakes that he feels, that's actually a holdover from the first episode of S-Task, because the first episode is just the Krypton exploding part, and previous to that, you start feeling a lot of earthquakes because the core is destabilizing. And the way they do it in this one is that the earthquakes are actually like the dream falling apart, including when Bruce is like taking off. And I love when Mongul first shows up. He insults Clark's honor. And you know who's the first one to punch him in the face?
Batman?
No, it's Wonder Woman.
Man, you would think it's almost like Wonder Woman has feelings for Superman, and that kind of thing was not just an insult to him, but an insult to the man she loved.
That's the thing. Here's the thing.
I would really call that a super wonderful moment.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. But see, here's the thing. I am impressed, Nick. To opposite Alita, I am impressed. But
he's like, that's a bad pun, but he's on our side, so I'll let it slide.
What do you think about how Superman has to undo the dream, so he has to admit that this is wrong, and then the planet explodes. He has to choose to go through that again, lose his son, and it's just that tugged on my heartstrings. So there's I don't know. I watched. So Nick and I do the Avatar rewatch episodes. We record the Avatar rewatch and Justice League back to back. We just talked about Appa's last days. So I literally went from one emotional heartstring like yanking to this. So I was like, ah, man, Nick, you're gonna make me depressed for the entire week. Thanks a lot, you dingus. But
Remember,
Nick,
there's always Starfield.
Oh yes, 100%. There's always Starfield's my comfort game right now. It's the peak sci-fi game, way better than No Man's
I knew
Sky.
it. I knew I'd get
anyway.
you on this. I knew I'd get you
But-
on that. I knew.
But Nick,
mission
would
accomplished.
what'd you think of the whole Superman part of this episode?
I thought it was really good. You know, like the whole son thing and this like I loved how Grandpa like they kind of like the way he turns around and like sees his father. It's like, oh my god, it's my father. You know, like for Jor-El, this is like, you know, Tuesday. It's Tuesday for him.
Mm-hmm.
But for Clark, it's he's seeing his father. And I like how the cinematography actually like put emphasis on that, like really made you feel that. And one of my favorite moments is like towards the end when like the kid is like hugging his dad. I feel like that's a simulation trying to get him to hold on a little bit longer. You know, because like I do feel like the simulation is trying to fight back against his doubts.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is. That's when like Jor-El remember that other prediction I made that like blew up the world or something like that?
That was supposed to blow up the world.
And I was discredited. You don't want to do this, Clark.
Yeah, I was getting very Truman Show vibes from that whole sequence.
Yeah, that is very true. It's very Truman Show. So, as Batman is trying to get this plant off of Superman, apparently he also has a laser pointer in his belt, a bat pointer.
I mean,
but
he's Batman.
Wonder Woman gets knocked into like an armory, and she gets like this giant gun, and just this image of Wonder Woman lying back with a giant cannon is so badass.
Just remember this, because if we ever have the argument, Wonder Woman doesn't use guns. Allow me to show you Wonder Woman using guns.
My favorite is when I can find examples from Bruce Timm, because a lot of the true DC fans look to Bruce Timm as if he is Zack Snyder. In other words, the second coming of God. So
wait, I have to say this. Ironic.
Yeah, or you could say that Zack Snyder is the blueprint, if anyone's copying off of him. But anyway, the point is, I love where she go. And here's a piece of trivia where she goes, "Go to hell." In the comic, she actually said "go to hell," but because of the censors, they had to take out the hell part. I love that. By the way, here's a fun piece of trivia.
By the way, I am convinced that if this is uncensored, Wonder Woman would say, "Go F yourself."
Oh yeah. By the way, here's a really fun fact. You ready for this? In the comic, you know who's with Batman and Wonder Woman during this whole episode?
Who?
Jason Todd Robin. This is before Robin got killed.
Oh, I thought this issue was made in the 70s. I guess it was made in the 80s. I'm surprised.
Yeah. So Jason Todd's Robin right now and getting fan votes to kill himself, but that's besides the point. But you also have like Crypto here, and by the way, there's a little change. So the present that Wonder Woman gets him is a flower called the Krypton. In the comic, it was a model of the Bottle City of Kandor.
Is that where Kandor comes from? Is that
No,
Kandor?
the Bottle City is actually Kandor, but a bottle by Brainiac. It's just I'm just saying she got him a model of it.
Yeah, honestly, the rose was kind of touching. Like I thought, it
was touching. And the rose is a romantic flower. I'm just gonna put that on there. But so, and then Batman gets the plant on him, and he gets the dream where his father actually took out Joe Chill. Well, started punching Joe Chill. Then when the plant was taken off of him, you see like the whole dream plays out normally. And
can you imagine how effed up that has to be for Batman to watch his parents die again?
But all of this will play off in a second. So they get so after Batman gets the thing off of Clark, Clark goes full Snyder cut on I'm gonna give you, here is an actual representation of Clark as soon as he got that plan on.
Not impressed.
Because he beat the crap out of Mongul. He goes, "Do you have any idea what you did to me?" And just with George Newbern, Mongul's holding him up by his thing, and just hearing Superman go, "Burn." I'm just like, oh,
You done ducked out now.
this is on the level. There's one other episode that will be a live stream where Superman goes full ham on a certain character.
Well, the thing is, Mongul can take the hits now, can you?
yeah, exactly. That's I take this as like a proof of concept for the Dark Side fight. And by the way, we will be live streaming
with Mongul. He doesn't have to hold back.
I love when
but
Superman...
you can take it now, can't you?
See, here's the way DC does Superman when he doesn't have to hold back. Oh no, his eyes are glowing red. What's he gonna do? Oh no, he doesn't have to hold back.
One of my favorite Superman moments is, you know, the episodes from the new Batman Adventures where Bruce is gone and Superman has to be Batman?
I never watched that.
Have you seen the fight between him and Bane?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Like, basically, Bane thinks he's dealing with Batman, and like, oh, you scrawny little girl, and then like Superman actually like punches him and he goes flying. It's so satisfying.
My favorite Superman moment is when he's fighting Apollo. Well, Apollo insults Diana's honor during the New 52. In fact, he basically calls Wonder Woman an S word that you would call a woman who... I'm trying to censor myself. So Superman
never insult a woman who can snap your neck before you use that sentence.
Or her boyfriend's a literal god. So he punches Superman into like a lava thing. Then Superman punches him. Then Apollo just blasts him with sunlight. And then Superman goes, "You don't know that much about me, do you?" And then punches him through a volcano. I just thought, like, I'm just thinking that kind of moment would be really good for your comic. Oh, I'm gonna have
the accidental power up, and he says, "You don't really know me that well, do you?" Oh, I'm gonna have something. There's a scene in it that I have planned that's gonna be like the new 52. Not that scene, but there's gonna be another one, and I'm gonna tell you this right now: there will be I live in a world made of cardboard moment. I got news for you. That is happening. So anyway, back to this episode. Superman goes complete like nutbag on Mongul and just utterly destroys him. And then Wonder Woman it takes the Black Mercy plan off of Batman. It almost gets on her. I would have kind of liked to see like what she dreams of. Yeah, maybe. I was kind of hoping we'd see that, but I guess too bad. And I love where she just throws it at him. She goes, "Hey, catch!" And then I love to go back to your Batman moment. When Mongul has a thing on him, you notice we never see his dream. We hear people screaming and stuff, but I love where Wonder Woman goes, "I wonder what he's dreaming about." And then Batman's like, "It's too good for him." So, Jared, I guess you could say the Mongul is dead. Consider some mercy. Yes, exactly. But please play the clip. Please play that clip. I don't have it on here again. But remember, how about Kevin Conroy going, "It's too good for him"? I love the growl he puts in that voice. Like you can feel the anger. He is pissed. The two DC characters you do not want to piss off are Superman. Actually, three are all in this episode, and you piss off all of them. I hate to be Alfred when Bruce gets home that night. Like, "Alfred, I'm gonna be in my room for the next 3 days. You're gonna hear a lot of My Chemical Romance. Please ignore it." Oh, by the way, Joe Chill is voiced by Kevin Conroy in this episode. And according to Dwayne McDuffie, one of my favorite DC creatives of all time, they sent a copy of this episode to Alan Moore, and he actually liked it. That's rare. High praise. That's high praise coming from Alan Moore. That is rare, because Alan Moore hates all adaptations of his work. He should be more like Dave Gibbons, who actually liked what Zack Snyder did with Watchmen. Oh my God! Imagine if we got Dave Gibbons on your show. Oh, that's the thing. That would be interesting there.
But yeah, this was if you want good Superman content, definitely watch this episode. If you want good anti-Lois Lane content, definitely watch this episode.
I do want to say this episode always feels weird for me because I feel like it's a holdover from Justice League because this feels like a Justice League episode. Like it's just bad. It's just like the Trinity and like there's no unlimited. Like I really feel like this was a script. Like this was intended to be part of season 2 of Justice League, but they just brought it over to here. Like it really feels like a Justice League episode. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
It's not meant to as an insult. This is not meant to take anything away from the show. I'm just saying, like, if you told me this was meant to be a Justice League episode, they just,
because it doesn't feature any of the extended cast, even on like if like kind of comms. By the way, this is the first appearance of the Invisible Jet.
Plus, there's no mention of like any of the unlimited people, so it feels like a Justice League episode.
I want to go back to the Invisible Jet part because if you're wondering where the hell did that come from, well, remember there was supposed to be a movie in between this and Justice League that would have bridged the two, and she gets the Jet in that movie, but they later reformatted that movie. But the point is, she has the Jet, which I like.
I always thought I thought Diana has had it since '84.
So anyway, I love where
life can be good, but it could be better.
I love where she banks, and then Batman's like going on a little town on those turns, and then Wonder Woman goes, "What, are you scared?" I just love that. But they also
by the way, I could totally see that exchange happening between Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot, as characters.
Yeah, I totally could. I would also love Henry Cavill to fight Mongul and go, "Do you know what you took from me?" I still, my biggest dream, if we get the Snyderverse back, animated or live action, what have you, doesn't matter. I want, when they fight Darkseid, for Henry Cavill to do the "I live in the world made of cardboard" speech.
Oh, by the way, if they ever do a live action Mongul, I want Michael Ironside to voice Mongul.
Okay, I could see that. That'd be kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, I know he was the voice of Darkseid, but he would make a really good voice for Mongul.
Well, that would work because he can't play Darkseid in this universe because Ray Porter plays him. But yeah, I could definitely see Ironside playing a pretty good Mongul. For you notice how the voice actor sounded a lot like Ron Perlman? For a second there, I thought it was Ron Perlman. It's not, but for a second there, because I looked it up and I was like, "Is that Hellboy?" And I'm like, "No."
Does Ron Perlman show up in Justice League or Justice League Unlimited?
I think he does. Hang on, Ron.
Because he was pretty active doing voice acting roles, so I feel like he would have showed up for he still does voice acting, but
he plays Driller, Clayface, Master Tarnover, Jax Orion, and Heavy Man.
Yeah, that makes sense because I feel like I don't see why they wouldn't use Ron Perlman for an episode because he has a good voice.
Plus, he has a really good. Plus, for Orion, yes, he is 100% who I would cast to play Orion, even in live action. He could definitely do it.
He made a great Slade.
Oh yes, 100. Oh, you mean Deathstroke, his actual name? But so Nick, I want to. So first off, as a Trinity episode, solid. As a Justice League episode, solid. I freaking love this episode.
I rate this episode super wonderful.
Does that mean it's a 10 out of 10?
No.
Dang it. How do you rate this?
It's a 9. It's a 9.
Okay, I'll take that. That's a nice compromise. It's pretty high up there.
But its official rating is super wonderful.
I appreciate that. This is one of my favorite DCAU episodes, period, in all of the DCAU. Because I love the episodes when Superman can just cut loose and beat the crap out of someone. I'm like, which is why I love that scene in the Snyder Cut where he beats the crap out of Steppenwolf.
It's really an injustice that he can't do it more.
Yeah, it's because if they do that, the fan base, the entitled fan base will throw a crap.
If he did that more, he'd really be a god among us.
Yeah, I know. I know 100%.
Oh my god, I'm killing.
You could say you could say we could start our own regime. So On that note, I think that's a good place to leave this episode. I freaking love it. It is one of, again, I want to say this again. It is a solid DCAU episode. It's one of the most enjoyable DCAU episodes ever. And Nick, let me ask you this. Where does this rate next to Initiation, last week's episode?
Last week's episode is better.
Okay. Exactly. So next episode,
this episode is very standalone, and I do like it. But I think obviously we only have 2 episodes to go off of. But I feel like of the 2, Initiation was better because did a really good job of Initiation. Did a really good job of establishing the new status quo. Obviously, you're introducing Green Arrow. I think they did a great job with that. I just think it's like Initiation was a really good start to the season.
It was. So next week's we're talking about Kid Stuff, which is the most Wonderbat propaganda I have ever seen. That's gonna. I got news for you. That's most likely going to be a solid 6 out of 10 because of that. just that takes off 4 points. I
might develop a bout of temporary insanity and regress.
If you do that, we're playing a certain intro that I have made for you that puts you with a certain marvelous Larson person.
You should probably
have your intro.
I'm telling you right now, you're gonna want to have that lock, stock, and loaded.
Okay, so in the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, become a member if you guys are so inclined. I would really appreciate it. We got a lot of great perks for you guys, particularly if you want to see like behind the scenes and you guys just want to hang out with us on game nights or movie nights. Just come on down and become a Justice Leaguer. So Nick, where can one find you and what have you got coming out?
All right, so this will be Tuesday when this is coming out. I released an episode of Avatar, a really sad one. Me and Jared did a good job filming that. But tomorrow, as of the airing date of this, we'll have Comic Watch. We will be doing we will be talking about the Phoenix Saga, the original portion. Issues 98 to 108 roughly. We'll kind of be talking about that, and then Thursday I got extra credits with my boy, and then there will be no Friday Night Frenzy because I'll be doing a con. On Saturday, you got Spider-Man. That thing's been popping off, and I thank you all for that.
It's fun. So, before we get to what's coming out in Comics League, something showed up on my Twitter feed that I really want to bring up. You can now watch Zack Snyder's Justice League on Amazon Prime. So, in other words, they just licensed out the Snyder Cut. They just sold the Snyder Cut. I'm just telling you.
They deliberately skipped Netflix.
Something's going on, guys. Something's going on. But anyway.
I think it's because they know that the Snyder Cut coming to Netflix is a big deal. Even if it's also on Amazon Prime, just the fact that it's on Netflix is a big deal because Netflix, no matter how much all the other companies want to admit it, Netflix is the big dog in the streaming game. It is the number one streaming service.
It's the OG.
It is it is the biggest, and it is the most it has the most cultural capital. The other ones may be big, but Netflix is the king of this castle, even if if Disney or Warner Brothers refuse to admit it.
I'm just verifying that the Snyder Cut is on Prime.
Imagine. Oh, I guess you're watching Snyder Cut again.
If you link your Prime, you can do that. So the point is, I'm seeing reports that it is on Prime. So that is interesting.
Well, we know what Jared's doing tonight.
Well, we know what we're talking about on CLD tonight, this Friday.
So, Jared, are you about to watch the Snyder Cut for the whatever of time?
Well, I don't have time for that because I got to get up early for work, but probably tomorrow for work. But in terms of, okay, so in terms of Comics League, by the time this comes out, you would have already had the episode 5 of Super Wonder Legacy, where, ironically, because we're talking about the Snyder Cut, Britt and I created an entire cinematic universe surrounding Super Wonder, but adapting the Snyderverse. So we still have Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill. We still have Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, BVS still happens.
Wait. So you created the SWU?
Yes, the SWEU.
No. The SWCU.
Yes, I did. I did 100%. I am the Kevin Feige of the Super Wonder fandom. And in terms of Indie Wednesday, I'm still figuring out what I want to do for Indie
You're
Wednesday.
really gunning for it, aren't you?
Yes, I am. On Friday, I am having the writers of Boobs of Steel come on to discuss the changing like standards concerning like the depiction of women in comic books, how they're not allowed to be hot and sexy anymore.
I've had them on my stream, which you've been there. They are amazing people.
They are very, very nice people.
They're very entertaining. Both of them are clever as heck. You will have a great time.
Yeah, and in terms of Under Two Capes, TBD, because I'm thinking we may want to talk about what we were discussing earlier in the episode for our UTC topic in terms of like who copies more, because that could actually be a little fun for right now. But and on terms of movie night, we will be discussing Batman Beyond Return the Joker. Nick may be on that, but the point is,
I'll be making an appearance. You know, but it'll be kind of brief because the show airs right as my con ends, and the con's about like 40 minutes from my house. So like by the time I get there, you know, I'll have to kind of start getting ready for my stream, so it just wouldn't work. Which, okay, that's totally fine, Nick. I'll just, you're more than welcome to at least make an appearance. So again, so we're talking about that. So we're talking about that, and yeah, in terms of CLD, we're probably I'm still verifying this, but apparently, if the Snyder Cut is on Amazon Prime, yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that because remember, also, wait, it started off as a Max exclusive. Also, I really okay. I need to send you my Beast Wars clips for when we talk about it, where he says, "Well, that's just pride." Yeah, Jared, I will send you that clip so you can play that. We'll play that.
I'll use it.
We have to. We have to.
I'll use on CLD. The opportunity for that is so good. But on that note, everyone, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next episode.